Hello, this is the Timeless Tarot, and today's reading is a weekly love reading for all signs. So this is what is happening in terms of love for you this week, if you want to know what is going on. And I've laid out a spread. We'll go straight to the bottom of the deck, and we have got the Two of Rods. Looking out into the world to see what's there. That's what the Two of Rods is. I'm going to take the top card to come with it as well. And we have another two, the Two of Swords. And another one from the bottom, which is the Six of Pentacles. So, it looks to me like you have choices to make this week. Now, I've said this is a weekly reading, so the choices could start this week. I'm not saying that necessarily everything will happen during this week, but the events that unfold from this reading will start to happen this week. That's my expectation of a weekly love reading anyway. So you have choices to make. Two of Swords is a choice. Two of Rods is looking out to see what your options are. And with that came the Six of Pentacles, which is the card of fairness, equality, and sharing. So I think what this is trying to say is that you're looking out to see what's out there, which might serve you well. And I believe you're a little bit cautious, which is why we have the Two of Swords. I think, although you're feeling like there are quite a few options here, you might have only just realised there are quite a few options, which sounds a bit strange. But it could be that you've been busy focusing on something else, and all of a sudden something has shifted and you're turning your attentions to love again. And I think you're looking out for the possibilities out there. But you're cautious. You're wanting to take your time about choosing something that is going to be right for you. It feels to me like you don't want to get into anything that is going to rock your boat in any way. If you're getting into a relationship, it needs to start off with smooth sailing. This is a really hopeful, positive energy with a note of caution. What's out there for me? What would be good for me? Who would be right for me? That sort of feeling. But as I said a minute ago, also what comes with it is the feeling like there's quite a few options for you, which is great news. Now, at the centre of the reading, this is really quite interesting, I think. We have the Hermit. And as I said before, I feel like your attentions have been elsewhere prior to this week. In fact, possibly last week, maybe your attention started turning to love with a little bit of interest. Perhaps somebody caught your eye. But prior to last week, I think you've been in hermit mode. I think you've been busy focusing either on yourself or your health or your wealth, and I believe for some of you, you might really have been focusing on spiritual matters, trying to raise your vibration in a more positive way, I think. You could have been focusing on work, finances, your health and well-being as well. But I think quite a few of you have been spending a lot of time on your own on purpose in order to feel better about you. But along the way of doing that, you've somehow or other raised your vibration, possibly not knowing how you've done it. It's so interesting. I think perhaps you've had a reset. I wonder if you don't even realise that. Some of you just might have been feeling a bit fed up and like you can't be bothered with anybody else. And so you've ended up in hermit mode by default, really. But in a way, it's not an accident. It's a reset. You have been fed up with putting your focus on other people. So you've turned your focus on you, which has meant that you've spent a bit of time alone, which has also meant that you've elevated your vibration, which is brilliant. Because what happens with that normally is that opportunities come your way. And of course, this was our first card, the card of opportunity. So this is all tying in really nicely. I believe you're wanting to come out of hermit mode, but there is something stopping you, and that is the Emperor. This is the card of pride. It's also the Aries card. So the Emperor is stopping you from coming out of hermit mode, or the Emperor is what is keeping you in hermit mode, I think, more likely. It's almost a bit of fear. I think that the period of spending your time on your own has been so good for you, and you're so comfortable now in the spirit of aloneness that I think perhaps you are slightly fearful making any connections. And I think the Emperor is keeping you in hermit mode. I don't think he's going to keep you there very long, because in the background, we've got this desire for opportunities. And yeah, what's really interesting is that crowning the situation is the Ace of Cups. When I was shuffling and I put out this spread, I said I'm going to put out a weekly love reading for all signs. Well, honestly, you could not get better than the Cup of Love crowning this situation. So yes, your thoughts have turned to love and the possibilities that are out there for you. This is a brand new love. This is a big love. This is divinely presented. You are being gifted the opportunity to find a brand new love. Ooh, that's exciting. I wonder if we need a clarifier for who it's with. But the reason why I'm saying I wonder if we need one is because in the underneath position, we have the card of reconnecting. This is the card of nostalgia. This is people from your past. This is the soulmate card. So on the face of it, you're looking for a new love, but what's hidden is that there could be something recurring or reoccurring from the past. So that's why I'm wondering if I need a clarifier for the Ace of Cups. Do we want to know any more about the love that's coming in? We know you're looking for a fair love. We know you're trying to choose the best option. And then we're now discovering that there could be somebody from your past or a soulmate coming in. Let's get a clarifier for the Ace of Cups anyway. Well, we have strength here. Strength is an internal struggle normally, where you've had to wrestle an idea in your mind. So it could be something that's maybe presents a sort of a challenge. You really want anything that's going to present you with a challenge in terms of love. You want it to be free and easy. Wow. Oh my goodness. Wish you could see my face here. I've just been extremely shocked. Right, to clarify let's just put strength back there for now. To clarify the new love coming in, the love that is on your mind, we have the Twinflame card, which is the Four of Wands, and we have the Knight of Wands. Wow. This is normally a masculine who's around for a good time, not a long time. He would be a fire sign knight, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, but not necessarily. And he comes in and out in a bit of a whirlwind, generally. He could very well be younger than you, and he could be somebody, we've already said, we've got the links with the past, the nostalgia card, the soulmate card. We also now have the twin flame card. This, I feel, is a very strong connection. If it is not somebody from your past, when you connect with this person, it is going to feel like you've known them a very long time. Now, let's go back to strength here. What is strength talking about? Well, maybe you've been battling with yourself about the idea of love, full stop. Maybe you're not sure you even want love. Maybe you're not sure how to go about finding love. Maybe you're not sure that love actually at your age and stage of life is right for you. But this is a new love coming in. And if it's not a new love, it's a new way with an old love. And if it's a new way with an old love, the battle perhaps could be, is there any point revisiting a situation from the past? Well, I would say yes, there is, because it looks to me like potentially what could have happened is that you had a fling with somebody in the past and it didn't develop the way it could have. And maybe you were disappointed. Maybe you felt like it had real potential, but for whatever reason, it did not get going the way you wanted. Maybe it's a twin flame situation where the initial connection is so powerful that you can't actually be together in the way you want, and it puts a great divide between you. If you've been in a twin flame situation, then I think that twin flame is about to reappear. I think so. And potentially you might find that you've been struggling to get over that particular individual, and that is what the struggle is. If that's not the struggle, then it could be that just the general idea of connecting with somebody from your past is one that you're not really interested in, or one that you can't equate to you, really. Probably doesn't feel like it would be doing you any favours and would be fair to you. Well, this is why this week we have a big choice to make. And as I said before, this isn't necessarily all going to play out this week, but it's going to start this week. I think the idea that love might be on the cards for you is starting this week. I think the idea that there are options out there is starting this week. I think that potentially, if you've been struggling to get over a twin flame, I think you could very well run into that person this week. And they are quite possibly a younger masculine, potentially Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or somebody that you had a fling with in the past. I think so. Well, what's in the hidden position will come back down here now. This is the Soulmate card. What's hidden, what other people don't know, perhaps, is that you had this connection to start with. Maybe this was a secret connection. I think there could be a link with childhood here. Let's have a clarifier for the Soulmate card. Ooh, got two. Ooh, well, they could be a Libra because that's the Justice card. And we have the Eight of Cups. This soul connection was abandoned with regret. This Eight of Cups is abandoning something, but in a sort of very quiet and regretful way. I think if you were in a relationship in the past that started off as a bit of fun, but clearly became a lot more than that very quickly, and one of you retreated, I think it was with regret that this ended. For both of you, probably. I think that's what Justice is here to say, that it was the same for both people. Justice really is a bigger version of the Six of Pentacles. So we have got fairness on both sides now. Yes, interesting. Very interesting. So Justice is also the Libra card. Just to remind you, the Emperor is the Aries card. The Hermit is the Virgo card. And Strength is Leo. So it could be any of those signs, but I would not get too hung up on the signs if I were you. I want to come back to the Emperor here. I think perhaps it could be for some of you that potentially the person from your past has been too proud in coming forward and have been in hermit mode as well. I think potentially for some of you, you have been too proud in coming forward and have kept yourself in hermit mode accordingly. So there is somebody's pride has got in the way here. I think you've both been in hermit mode, and I think somebody's going to kick their pride aside and make a reconnection is what it feels like. It feels like you're both waiting for the same thing. Oh, that's so interesting. Wow. In the past, we have death. Death is an inevitable change. I think if this is a connection that you had in the past, it couldn't be sustained, it had to end. That's one way of looking at this. If you've been single for a really long time, or you've never really had a serious relationship, then what that death is talking about here is a change of attitude, I believe. I think you've had to leave an old ideal in the past. Maybe you're changing your idea of what you're looking for, or maybe this period of self-reflection has caused you to recognise that actually the sort of person you thought you wanted is not necessarily going to be the best sort of person for you now. It's interesting. I think you've had a change of heart, and I believe that's a good place to find death in the past, because that means that you're leaving a way that didn't suit you behind and moving forward into the Four of Swords, which is the card of rest and recovery. And it's also the card of recovering from heartbreak. So I think if something ended in the past and it left you feeling heartbroken, you have recovered from that. You've had a period of time on your own, and you are now in a much, much, much better energy, which is what we said at the start. In a personal way, we have the King of Swords. This could be a lawyer. So you could be going through a legal situation, actually, in terms of love. I can't quite think what, but we've got justice, which is the law, and we've got a lawyer as well here. Doesn't necessarily mean that. Could just be talking about cutting yourself off from a situation that doesn't serve you anymore in a personal way. I think you're cutting yourself off from an old way of being, thinking, living, or experiencing, and you're ready for something new, because don't forget we had that at the very start, the card of new possibilities, and I think that is what you're cutting yourself away from things that don't serve you anymore. In the home position, wow, 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 another huge love card. We have the Lovers, and I think perhaps maybe something has changed at home, which might mean that you are now open to a love connection. Well, I think so, because we now have the Lovers, the Soulmate card, which is the Six of Cups, and the Twinflame card. This connection or reconnection is so strong that it is immediately going to make you feel like you've made the right choice. It feels like love is coming home. Oh, that's such a phrase. It made me feel like wanting to cry. I feel like saying love is coming home for you. And it feels for some of you like that has been such a long time. Gosh, love is coming home. Wow. In the hopes and fears position, we have the Seven of Cups. Exactly what I said at the start. Possibilities, options. Who's out there? Who would be right for you? Which way are you going to jump? You have options, choices, and choices to make. Seven of Cups can be confusion though, particularly if you've been out of the love game for a while, or you're not sure what you're looking for, or you're doing dating or something and you've got lots of different options to choose from. So let's get a clarifier. Wow. Oh my goodness. What a reading this is. My goodness. Right. We have the Sun to clarify the options. I started off saying that it feels like you've got a lot of options, and that was before I'd even read any cards. It does feel like you've got a lot of options, and it suddenly feels like you've got a lot of good options. It feels like this is the hopes and fears position. So if you're hoping for some good options, that's what you're going to get. If you're fearing that all the options are rubbish, you're incorrect. The Sun is the best card in the deck. The options are truly there and they're good. The only difficulty is working out which way you're going to go. But I do believe in a way that if it is somebody coming in from your past, you might hesitate because of the past history, but I don't think you're going to hesitate over the connection, because at the outcome here, we have the Empress. Well, would you believe it? This is the perfect pairing, the Emperor and the Empress. So we've got all the love cards out. We've got let me get them all out. We have the Ace of Cups, a brand new love or an old love that is coming in a new way. We have the Knight of Rods. This is a masculine who you had a fling with in the past, perhaps, and it could not develop. It could have been a twin flame connection. It could have been a strong soulmate connection. Love is coming home for you. Wow, honestly, I'm getting a tingle. It's time. It's time for love to come home for you. You have options, but they're all really good options. This is a good time to have options and make choices because you're clear thinking. You've recovered from whatever heartbreak or upset was in your past. You've recovered from that. You know what you're looking for. You're looking for something that is on an equal footing. You're looking out into the world, trying to assess your options and make the right choice. There is a younger masculine coming in, I believe, possibly coming back. It could be that if it's somebody coming back, you might struggle with that connection, coming to terms with reconnecting with that person. Or it could be that the person who's coming in comes in a bit like a fling and you struggle with that as a concept. But it's a big love. It's a big, big, big love. This is the best pairing in the deck. And this is what you've got at the outcome. We have the Empress as the outcome and we had the Emperor as the problem. So the person whose pride was slowing them down and keeping them in hermit mode, the person who left quite a long time ago, I feel, could very well be coming back. And if that's not the case, then really and truly, the only way to say this is that you could very well meet your perfect partner very soon. Now, I did say at the start this was a weekly reading, and it is, but I'm not convinced that you're all going to meet your person this week. This is the start of a shift in energy. This is what you've got coming up. This week, things are shifting. You're noticing people. You're seeing the possibilities. You're weighing up your options. And potentially, you're going to bump into somebody from your past. You may very well have great potential for a really happy future with. And I really hope so. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please like and subscribe so that I can read your energy more easily, which will help me to do more accurate readings for you and your situation in the future. And if you would like a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. But until the next time, this is the Timeless Tarot. Goodbye.